All right, everybody, welcome back to the Big Blue Dynasty series here on Madden 24. We are now in the 2024 draft. The New York Football Giants are the #1 overall pick. It is no surprise to who we will pick for this one. It's going to be our quarterback, but after that, we'll see how everything else falls. In some of the YouTube shorts that I have done, but prior to this video, I made sure to kind of show what we're doing and who do we currently have on our board. I wanted to give some different variety there, and the hope is that, you know, if for some reason we can't get our #1 pick for each one of these ones, that I do have some options that I could consider if for some reason, you know, we can't get the guys that we necessarily wanted, on the first move. But I could see any of these players here being very good for us no matter what. All of these players have specific attributes, whether they are scheme fit or they have something that could help us out in some rotations or potentially be that star that we are missing at certain positions. I'm just hoping that we can grab these players and allow us to move forward. On the back end, I already have the playbooks set up now for the preseason, and my hope is that we can just kind of figure out what plays work for these guys and who will actually make this team. We currently have 60 players on the roster, so with this draft class, it'll get us to 68. Whether we decide to add a couple more players in the preseason free agency, it depends on the cap space situation that we do have. But this team is young, and I'm going to continue to try to see how we can fill these pieces and hopefully build that franchise that can get us to the playoffs. Before we get to the draft, I want to make sure that I look at our current setup. I think we got some good players here at different positions that could take another step forward or be that security that we need as we evolve this team with the younger players. The O-line, to me, I think is in a really decent spot. It's just this right side now that we have to continue to work on. I will be evaluating this year on how Evan Neal does at left guard, because he is a first-round pick. He was a top 10 pick. If he doesn't work out, then we have to figure out how does these other players kind of help fill that gap when needed. But the hope is that Evan Neal succeeds and we have ourselves a very strong left side. The defensive side, to me, is still a lot to work on now, with knowing that we went through the scheme change. But I feel like with L'Jarius Sneed being added to this team and a surprise pickup in the late free agency stage in Terrell Edmunds, I think this DB core is going to be very strong for us. We are going to consider to keep looking at some cornerbacks for the fact that there isn't much depth after Sneed and Banks. So we need to know who is going to step up after that. The defensive line, too, is going to get an opportunity, as I'd like to see what happens with DJ Davidson and Jordan Riley to take up the interior line role. Boogie Basham and Kayvon Thibodeau are our initial ends, but who knows who can be picked up in this year's draft or preseason free agency. So with that being said, let's head to the draft. It is no surprise with the #1 overall pick on what we will do. It's not to say that I don't necessarily have to grab somebody different, but with the trades being available, it doesn't look like anybody would love to trade with us. So we know what we have to do, and the hope is that he becomes a very, very good player for the New York Football Giants. Caleb Williams is definitely the #1 player on the board. He's the #1 player that everyone believes could be that generational talent. Coming out of USC, I feel like he didn't have the craziest of opportunities on his team. His O-line was a little weak. His defense definitely didn't make anything easier for him. But he seems to have a lot of passion for the game, and the hope is that he will change the direction here for the New York Football Giants for the future. Not just in the near future, but become our new franchise quarterback. We haven't had one since Eli Manning, and it's been quite tough. The hope is that we can find ourselves a guy that we can use for the next 10 years. So welcome to the team out of USC, 6'1", 220 pounds, Caleb Williams. He is a hidden dev, 96 throw power. What I like here is he got 87 speed, 92 acceleration, 88 change of direction. All of this is telling me that this guy could be great for us. And hopefully we know how to use him. The Bears are up next, and it's no surprise that the Bears could go quarterback, but in this recent mock, they're going to go Marvin Harrison here, making sure that the Cardinals can't take this wide receiver away from them. That's a big play for them, and they know that the Cardinals don't need a quarterback. Now, what I would love is if the CPU would be able to trade during the draft. That would actually be kind of neat. But the Cardinals here are going to be taking Olu Fashanu. They drafted Paris Johnson the previous year for the right tackle spot. Now they're going to have a very elite left tackle coming out of college from Penn State to hold down the left side for Kyler Murray. That is going to be a very strong O-line, especially Kevin Zeitler just came through to their right guard position, so very good move for them. The Bears' second pick there is going to be Drake May, so they are moving on from Justin Fields. There's been a lot of talk about that, as Justin Fields just doesn't seem to fit with what the Bears are doing. Drake May is a very good pocket quarterback, but I think he might be able to make some waves there in the NFC North. Jared Verse here is going to head to the Commanders. This one is no surprise in that the Commanders gave up Chase Young and Montez Sweat at the trade deadline. So they know what they want, and they know who they have. They're willing to try to reset the edge market for them. They have Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen in the interior, so no issue there. Michael Penix is the new quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. I think this is a good move for the Vikings. Michael Penix is a lefty, so they're going to have to ensure that blind side is taken care of, but this might be really good here. Michael Penix to Justin Jefferson, that would be an amazing combination for years to come. Tampa Bay's up here, and instead of going quarterback, surprisingly, they're going to go for a corner. They want to find somebody to pair up here with Jamel Dean, and I don't think that's a bad idea for them. Buccaneers have a stout defense led by Todd Bowles, so keep loading up that defense and see what they can do for the future. But I wonder when they take their quarterback. The New England Patriots are up, and they're going Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, the second wide receiver out of that group there, and that's not a bad move for them. I don't think they really have that wide receiver one. They have Juju Smith-Schuster on the roster, but not really much else. Keyshawn Boutte didn't really do so much last year, so I don't think this is a bad move for the Patriots, helping out Mac Jones. This one's a little bit of a head scratcher here as the Rams take Amarius Mims, maybe because he's the best tackle in the draft, but they have Rob Havenstein. So I don't know if their goal is to move Amarius Mims to left tackle or move Rob Havenstein to left tackle. We'll see what they decide to do this upcoming season. Chargers take Cooper DeJean here from Iowa. This is probably considered one of the better corners in this year's draft. And I think with the Chargers not having much success with the J.C. Jackson acquisition, who they just sent back to the Patriots, they're going to have to figure out who's going to pair up with Asante Samuel. The Colts here are going to just say, you know what, we're taking the next best player that's out there. Brock Bowers out of Georgia is considered the generational talent for the tight end role. They don't really have anything that crazy there. They got Woods and they got Mo Alley-Cox, but they don't really have a solid tight end for Anthony Richardson. So maybe that's the move for them, and maybe they can help them out for the future. The Raiders take J.C. Latham there. They don't really have a big right tackle, an elite right tackle. Ella Manure just came back from the free agency, so that's not a bad move for them. But I think that's going to be something special potentially there. But who is going to be the quarterback for the Raiders? Laiatu Latu falls to the Seahawks. That is a very Seahawk thing to do right there, grabbing it the best edge that's considered out there. He's got some, some injury concerns, but really good off the end. And I think that's going to continue to create some really elite situations there for the Seahawks defense. Texans are up, and they're going to grab the best defensive tackle in this year's draft, and Jerzon Newton. This defensive tackle, I've been watching on our board. He's been moving up and down, whether he's fallen out of the first round, been a late first round pick. Being a mid-rounder here, though, is not bad, and I think the Texans are building something very special in Houston. Broncos are up, and the Broncos are going to be taking Kalen King. They need another corner to pair up with Patrick Surtain. Kalen King is a good freaking prototypical corner there, and I think that's going to help them out. I think they got all the weapons on the offensive side. They need to keep that defense going, because right now it's looking quite porous. The Titans decide to go Chop Robinson out of Penn State. I don't think this is a bad move for them. Jeffrey Simmons is the best player on that defense. With no more Kevin Byard, that's pretty much all they have. So with Chop Robinson on that end, that might be able to work out. They picked up Tyron Smith from the Cowboys as their left tackle, so I think they're going to leverage him for one more year. This one is a bigger surprise here for Kenny, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as they grab Keon Coleman. They have Kenny Pickett, they have Deontay Johnson, Pat Freiermuth, Najee Harris, and Jalen Warren, so they're just trying to give more weapons for this young man. Maybe Pickett can take another step forward. Cardinals' second pick in this year's draft is going to be an interior defensive lineman, and they're going Mason Smith here out of LSU. Very good defensive tackle. They got their left tackle. Now the goal is continue to build up that defense, and maybe we'll see some really amazing things there, led by their Coach Gannon. Packers here, they never go anything on the offensive side over at their first round, and they're going Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. This is a very good looking freaking corner, man. He's 6'2", 6'3", very fast, and to be paired up with Jair Alexander and Stokes, that's going to be a really awesome situation there. Saints are up, and they're going Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. I felt like they have a left tackle, but they may not. I know they got Ryan Ramczyk. So by grabbing someone like Joe Alt here, that's eventually going to move Trevor Penning probably to a guard position until they figure things out. But that's a great move for them, as they need to protect Derek Carr. Falcons here go Leonard Taylor. I don't know, what else the Falcons can do here with Arthur Smith as their coach. They got the great weapons on the offensive side. I'm a little surprised they didn't go quarterback, so maybe they rock with Tyler Heineke or Ritter for one more year. We'll see. Jets here, they're going for speed. Xavier Worthy is heading to New York. He's going to be playing for freaking the Gang Green. Aaron Rodgers is there for one more year at least, and having another weapon for Rodgers is not a bad idea. We'll see how it works out for them. Dolphins are up here at pick 23, and they're going Rome Odunze. There's always some injury concerns that occur for them with Jalen Waddle and some of their other weapons like the running backs and stuff, so grabbing another offensive weapon is not a bad idea. I think their defense is in an okay spot, as they have Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard as their corners, so I think they're in a good spot overall from a roster perspective. Dallas Turner is such a Ravens move. They are just going to be heavy defense, and Lamar's got his running back by committee. He's got Mark Andrews, he's got Zay Flowers. He's going to be just fine. So bulking up that defense is not a bad play there. The Cowboys are up here, and they're going to go a left tackle and Graham Barton. I think this is a good move for them. They let Tyron Smith go. He's now playing for the Titans, but I think this is a nice move for them, is that they got to get a little younger on that O-line and hopefully work this out. They got Tyler Smith at left guard. They got Zach Martin at right guard, Biadiz at center, and Terrence Steele at right tackle. So good move there. Bengals don't really got to do much on the offense, as they re-signed T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. So grabbing more defensive players on that end is not a bad move. Kalen Bullock here from USC. Very good free safety. We'll just see how it works out for them, though, because You know, they got a lot of safeties on that team. This one's pretty crazy right here as the Jaguars go ahead and take Malik Neighbors from LSU. More speed. They got Kirk. They got Ridley. They got Evan Ingram and Travis Etienne. Just get more weapons for Trevor Lawrence, and we'll see how far that Jaguars teams go. The Eagles are up here at pick 28, and they go JT Tuimoloau from Ohio State. This is a very good defensive end. I wish I knew how to say his name better, but I think the Eagles are doing it right. Brandon Graham has retired, so grabbing another defensive end is not a bad move for them. Jason Kelsey's back. Lane Johnson's back. So the offense is going to continue to hum. That's going to be dangerous for us. The Lions are trying to find more O-linemen, and I don't think that's a bad idea for them. They go Kingsley Suamaitai. I think this is a good move, as maybe Decker isn't the end-all be-all at left tackle for the future. So having someone to back him up, because I think Decker's on his last year of his contract, they got someone for the future to pair up with Penei Sewell. Xavier Legette was a player I wanted, but he is going to the Bills. Gabe Davis is no longer with the Bills. I think he went to the Lions. So with that being said, Legette paired up with Diggs, paired up with Kincaid, paired up with freaking James Cook. Bills offense is going to be freaking crazy. The Niners are up and they're going right tackle Tally East. Now, I went to go look at their roster, and Trent Williams has retired and they have no right tackle. So they're going to have to start grabbing tackles, it looks like, in this year's draft. To ensure that this offense continues to keep moving. That defense is ridiculous, so they don't really have to worry about much there. I thought maybe corner could be an option, but tackle is not a bad move. And it looks like the Chiefs are going to go ahead and snag that up. They're going to go ahead and take Tyler Guyton here out of Oklahoma. They need to continue to infuse that O-line with youth, because they're spending money in other places. Willie Gay has just left that team. I think he is playing for the Raiders or the Titans or something like that. So they got to reset in some places, and you got to keep putting youth on this team because of the crazy cap that is invested in Travis Kelce, in Pat Mahomes. So we'll see how far this goes. So we're up now, and there's still quite a bit of players on our board, and I am not upset about that. You're starting to see some guys here that might work out for us, right? And Bo Nix is on the board, Cameron Kitchens, and Patrick Paul. These are all players that could be quite interesting. But when I look at what I like to go for, I go, who is on the board that we can grab that I would really appreciate? Braylon Bryce is a speed rusher that is on my board. I really like him. Cedric Von Pron was another one. Maybe we can move him to guard and kind of load that up. But I'm really interested in some defensive players here. I think I could go after a wide receiver in Troy Franklin if I really wanted to. I can get a really legit linebacker in Jeremiah Trotter. We can get Makuba here, or Brendan Rice if we really wanted to. But I think for our first pick in the second round, I don't think there's anything wrong with snagging up a defensive player that could really change the game. It's going to be between two players. Braylon Trice out of Washington, 6'4", 270 pounds, 23 years old. He's got a B power move, B tackle, A to C finesse move. What I like here is he didn't have the craziest of combines, but he's got an elite change of direction that might be helpful for us. Maybe he can help disengage off the O-line and really contain QBs that we have to deal with. The other player I'm currently looking at is Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State. He's a power rusher. He's 6'4", 265, 22 years old, with A tackle, A to C power move, B finesse, and B block shed. His combine was better than Braylon Trice. He's got elite change of direction as well, but he's got great speed and great acceleration. When I have to decide between these two players here, I definitely want to make sure we're looking at some diversity in my edges and just across the roster. I don't want to have just the same player that's going to be out there for each position. I want something that's going to kind of spark some differences there. And I believe Jack Sawyer can do it. Now we also have the opportunity to draft Denzel Burke here. Denzel Burke's got B man coverage and B zone coverage with A to C press. He is a top fit for us. His speed is pretty good at 4.48. Change of direction solid. Issue is his speed is marginal. My whole thing with that, when it comes to speed, not an issue if I can rock him in the slot for a little bit until he gets everything going. Having B man coverage and B zone coverage tells me that we could make this guy whatever we would like to make him from a development standpoint. We could decide to go after a wide receiver, find a weapon for Caleb Williams right now. A release here for Troy Franklin is quite intriguing. 6'3" and 187 pounds. He's a little thinner, but when you got 4.38 speed, what else do you got to do, man? This guy was first in the combine when it came to the 3-cone drill and the 20-yard shuttle. So his potential here as far as route running is impeccable. A medium route, B short route, B spec catch, A release, B deep route. Like, all of this is telling me, my goodness, if we can get him here, we could find another weapon for Caleb Williams, and that could kind of work through it. But when I initially think about this, I'm more concerned on this first pick to really help out our defense. Maybe we can grab another wide receiver here, and we do have some options, and any one of these players I would not be upset with. Players like Brendan Rice, or even the huge player in Florida State, Johnny Wilson, who's 6'7", 237 pounds. I'm not upset about trying to grab a player like that. Or even if someone fell to us like Jeremiah Trotter here, an interior linebacker, we don't necessarily need him, but having a player like Trotter being in part of the rotation with Micah McFadden and Bobby Okereke, like, why the heck not? So when it comes down to this picking here, I am going to take a player who I think has way more upside at this point. And he's coming out of Ohio State, which is a very good defense that could translate over to the NFL. I think he's got great attributes for us and can work out, and we'll kind of figure out where we can move him on the line. He's very quick, he's very strong, and he's still young to really help us out. So welcome to the team, Jack Sawyer. Hidden Dev, 82 strength, 83 speed, 86 acceleration with an 82 change of direction. All of this is telling me amazing. So I'm hoping we can leverage him, continue to bolster up that defense, and the defensive line was a definite need for us. The Commanders are up here, and the Commanders could go quarterback and really shock the world here, or they can continue to work on that O-line, which I feel is desperately needed there. We'll see what they decide to do. Maybe they don't necessarily need all the craziest weapons, but who knows what they decide to do on this second pick here in the second round. They're going to go center Cedric Von Prawn out of Georgia. This is a great move for them. They need to protect Sam Howell, and I think grabbing the best center in this year's draft isn't a bad way to do it. Cardinals are up here, and the Cardinals can do a couple different things. They now have their O linemen, they have their D linemen, and what in the heck here? You know what? They're just saying, hey, let's grab a good, freaking well-experienced college quarterback, and let's have a backup just in case. Bo Nix is heading to Arizona. That's a good move. Why not? Because I think of some other players here that can grab them, and that's pretty good. And the Panthers here will take Cameron Kitchens. They're going to bolster up that DB group. And coming out of Miami, the guy's very quick, very instinctive. Good move for Carolina there. I would have thought wide receiver, but it is what it is. Commanders are up here, and the Commanders are going to take a left tackle here, and Patrick Paul from Houston. They need to get that O-line straight, and with their 2 picks here in the second round, that's not bad. You get the center and Cedric Von Prawn. Now you get the left tackle and Patrick Paul from Houston. Commanders are going to lean in and hope that Sam Howell is their future franchise quarterback. The Vikings are up here, and the Vikings, they took Penix in the first round, and they're taking Chris Jenkins out of Michigan in the second round here. That defense needs to evolve. They got Marcus Davenport. They got Daniil Hunter. But there are some oldies on that team like Harrison Smith. So hopefully they continue to infuse youth on that side and succeed. Buccaneers are up, and there you have it. They grabbed their quarterback out of Michigan, J.J. McCarthy. I went to check their roster before I went into this draft, and they have no quarterback. So the fact that they leaned in, grabbed the best corner in the draft, and said, you know what, we're going to wait. We're not going to have a shot at the bigger, the top 2 QBs, so let's lean into this one. Let's see who falls. J.J. McCarthy's a very good QB. Andrew Makuba ends up going to Clemson here, from Clemson going to the Patriots. I don't know about this. They got some pretty good safeties there in Jabril Peppers and Kyle Duggar. I wonder if they could have went, continued to build up that offense, but we'll see. That's a very good safety for them. Rams are up, and there you have it. Maybe this is the heir apparent quarterback for the Rams. It's going to be Quinn Ewers from Texas. Matthew Stafford is their QB, but Quinn could potentially surpass him. As Matthew Stafford's getting older, his OVR is starting to get less, so maybe we'll see Quinn Ewers later this year. Braylon Trice has stopped the fall. He's going to go to the Chargers. Chargers invested 2 early picks into the defense to get their corner in Cooper DeJean, and now they get their defensive end here in Braylon Trice. Hopefully they figure this out, man, and we'll see the Chargers in the playoffs one day. Colts here, creating more freaking controversy. They got Jonathan Taylor. What do you need? You're going to go Blake Corum here. A little head scratcher. You already got Brock Bowers, who I think is going to help him out, maybe air the game out, the offense out. But Blake Corum, I don't know, maybe a 2-headed monster. We'll see. Left tackle ends up going to the Raiders. Just more depth for them. They got Colton Miller. They drafted a right tackle in the first round, so maybe they'll figure out what they're going to do here. Now, here's the thing. Wide receiver has not been picked. In the wide receivers that I want have not been picked. Now, we could go Troy Franklin, or we can grab Caleb Williams' teammate here in Brendan Rice. If I'm going to pick a player, I think I'm going to grab the weapon that is the best weapon. Maybe not on his team, but a weapon that I think can really help out the New York Football Giants. Something a little different, right? We got Jalen Hyatt. I got Odell Beckham to really be that security blanket for a rookie QB. We got our tight ends in Darren Waller and Dan Bellinger. We got our running back, the workhorse in Saquon Barkley. And then now we got a power back in Ezekiel Elliott. So all of these players have a very specific role. I need someone who can grow under that. And I think Troy Franklin could really be that player. He has the speed. He's got all the attributes. Not the strongest, but I don't need him to be the strongest. I just need him to beat players out. And he's got all the right things, man. His route running is amazing. His release is great. And I think this is going to be a very, very good player for us. He's 6'3", 187 pounds. So a little thinner, but he's young. 21 years old, out of Oregon. We'd like to welcome you to the team, Troy Franklin. Hidden Dev, 94 speed, 96 acceleration, 92 change of direction. Whoo, baby, I think we got our dog, man. This is going to be a very fun offense. So we're up now in our pick. And, we got some corners here. We even have a tight end that could be quite interesting at this pick. I really am considerate with where we stand on some of this stuff. This is the 3rd round pick. I could grab the tackle that could really help us out for the future. We do need a right tackle, as I got Yash Nijman there, Joshua Azudu at right tackle. So maybe we grab ourselves a guy now in this pick and kind of make sure we got the tackle we need. but I cannot ignore the corners that are out there. Denzel Burke is still there, and he's not the strongest guy, but to me, it's just infusing more depth into that corner role because we definitely need some help there. But can you deny some abilities here like Cade Stover out of Ohio State? He's a little older, but the guy is a very vertical type of tight end that can help us out if something were to happen to someone like, let's say, Darren Waller. It's not too out of possibility there that could happen. We could grab another wide receiver here like Jalen Polk if we wanted to, but I'm thinking, you know, when I look at these plays here, we should probably look at a tackle. Blake Fisher is considered probably more of a reach here because he's got the 3-4 talent in the round, and we are like in the early third, so we could go after Blake, but maybe there's an ability for us to accumulate some more picks here. So let's see what's out there as far as trades. Texans are willing to give us a future third, a current fourth, and a future seventh. Minnesota says, hey man, we'll give you a second next year, and a sixth next year. Ravens say the same thing. We'll give you a second, a fifth, and a seventh next year. Raiders said, hey man, you move back a little bit. We'll give you the third, and then we'll just slip you a seventh here just for saying what's up. Panthers, they're willing to give us a future third, fourth, and a current fifth. Niners say, hey man, future second, future fourth. Falcons say, we'll give you a third, and we'll give you a fourth this year. Nope, and never going to happen with the Eagles. Even if they give me 3 first rounds, I ain't doing it. Never give much freaking stuff to the Eagles. Nope. Cardinals are saying a third and a seventh. So when I look at what's intriguing out there, I go pick 76. When I looked at my numbers here, that would move us back 11 spots. If we moved back 11 spots, would we have the guy that we want? I don't think so. And a seventh isn't going to be enough. No freaking way. The Falcons would give us a third and a fourth. That is a little bit more closer to what I want, but I need to keep drafting. The Ravens are a little interesting, but that's just telling me I'm going to get a late freaking second, late fifth. So basically I'm going to get a third, a sixth, and a late seventh when I see that. So that's not really telling me much there. So what I'm going to do on my end is, despite the trading possibilities here, I got to lean into what I need. The corners and the tight end are quite intriguing, but I got to make sure that we continue to invest into the O-line. This is our third round pick. A, run block, B, pass block, B, impact block. He's a power tackle, but look at that. He's pretty quick, and he's got good change of direction for what I'm seeing right there. So I'd like to see us continue to grow this spot. Blake Fisher is 6'6", 310 pounds, out of Notre Dame. Welcome to the Giants. Norm Dev, 86 strength, 82 acceleration with the 68 speed. Nothing crazy there, but we can develop this. And maybe he works out for us and, for the future, and we'll see how he competes with Yash and Ijman in that space there. So our pick here in the 4th round, I see we got some corners here that are still available, like Kalen Carson. I see a wide receiver out there that's still available in Jalen Polk from Washington. I'm also looking at Terrion Arnold here out of Alabama. That's a little more intriguing for me. We can go after a tackle if we wanted to right now in Goncalves. We could go after that versatile tight end here in Oronde Gadsden, who's pretty freaking fast. Dude's got elite speed, elite jumping, elite change of direction, great strength. All of these things tell me, like, man, could he be an incredible tight end too? But, I want to see, could we make some moves here? Adonai Mitchell, not the fastest guy, but he might be the better Texan wide receiver and could surprise some people. He's also got good run blocking too, so that's something that I'm also interested in. knowing where we're at with that, I'm going to see if maybe there's a trade possibility here. Maybe we decide to move out of this one and see if we can maybe grab something in the later round. Bill's trying to offer us a future third and a future fifth. Vikings saying, hey man, we'll give you a future third and a seventh. Ravens say, we'll give you a current seventh, but we'll give you a future third. Raiders are going to give us a future fourth, fifth, and seventh. Carolina says, we'll give you a future fourth and fifth. Lions say future third and a current seventh. Niners, future third and fifth. Falcons, a current fourth and a current sixth. So we are pick number 97. So we would have to move back 20 spots, which is a lot. Now we get a 6th round pick, which could help us out. Maybe we can find some depth there. That'll give us a 9th player that we can add to this team, which is a little interesting. I just don't. 20 spots. It is a mid-round. It is a mid-round pick, so it's not surprising to just get a 6th. Falcons could be pretty horrible, or they can be pretty incredible. They're in a really bad division, so I'd have to think about that, right? When you look at our prospects here on our board, we definitely have to consider, are we going to be cool to let some of these guys leave? Kalen Carson, Jalen Polk, Terrion Arnold, Matt Goncalves, Oronde Gadsden, Malachi Moore, Kyrie Jackson. Now, are we going to be cool to see these guys? Jaheim Davis, or no, excuse me, not Jaheim. Jaheim Bell. Are we going to be cool to let Nehemiah Pritchett, Tyron Hopper, like these are all guys, Cam Hart, I got to be cool with letting some of these guys go, and am I cool with it? I honestly think I am. I think I'm in a good spot, and we get a 6th round pick, which adds another potential player here that could make this roster. I say, why the heck not? Let's take him for the Falcons, get an additional 6 there, and move back a little bit. Let's see what else we got here, right? We got another pick in the 5th round, an early pick, so this is where I have to think about, you know, Terrion Arnold. He's a slot corner, B press, good speed, solid change of direction. All of this tells me, man, he could be something special for us as we're trying to figure out the slot corner. We could grab Kalen Carson here out of Wake Forest. Z coverage on the zone, B man coverage here. Very quick. This guy has all the practice. Now, it says his speed is marginal because he's got a 4.4. Not sure what that means. And it says decent acceleration, but all this is telling me he's got a very, very good archetype. So, do we take a chance here and snag up a corner? We got 8 corners on our roster. Kalen Carson, he's a slot guy, but he's pretty quick. Man, it looked like he had a really good freaking combine, but the acceleration speed thing looks kind of confusing there. But I say we take him, man. Aggressive ball hawk, often looks to rip the ball from runners, and the guy's gonna create some chaos and penalties, but I'd say let's go for it. 6'1", 195 pounds out of Wake Forest. Welcome to the team, Kalen Carson. Oh, baby! Hidden dev, 88 speed, 89 acceleration. Not the most incredible thing, but that could work for us with the hidden dev. We got ourselves a guy that we can leverage for the slot corner, so we're going to see him compete against Cordell Flott, Aaron Robinson's there, and Trey Hawkins. Who's going to make this team? I'd love it to make this work, man. That's a good freaking pick. I didn't expect it, but I'll take it. Landon could be drafted, but this is like a tight end that could really be special from Florida State. The fact that he's got elite everything, 6'3", 239, that's something very, very special, that it just gives more weapons for Caleb as well, right? So I think we're going to do it. He's 6'3", 239, 23 years old, out of Florida State. Everything about his notes all scream pretty incredible. And to get him in the 5th round, I think this is a good find. Welcome to the team, Jaheim Bell. 88 speed, 90 acceleration, 86 change of direction. What in the hell is that? That is incredible. Norm Dev, it is what it is, but I think we're going to be able to see how to kind of move him around. I'd like to see if maybe we can move him to slot, dude. That's going to be kind of interesting. But I think what I'd like to do is snag the best player that's out there. He's fallen too far now. We're in the 6th round. And he's got a decent deep route. He's a pretty quick wide receiver for his height and weight. I say, why the heck not? He's got a run block. So let's see if we can take it an opportunity here and see him rock, man. Welcome to the team. 6'2", 204, 22 years old, out of Washington, Jalen Polk. 89 speed, 90 acceleration, 86 change of direction. Not bad. We'll see what his OVR looks like, but I don't think he's a bad player, man. I think, you know, we're getting another guy that can really change it up. And, you know, maybe he can surprise us. We'll see what he does in the preseason. I don't necessarily think there's anything too crazy for us. Like I said, I've kind of marked some guys, but the guy that I'm really interested in bringing in, or there's actually a couple of them. I think Edwin Cooper could be very, very different for us. He's got A zone coverage. He's the athlete in the group right there for the interior linebackers. B man coverage. Edwin Cooper could be it. I was also looking at Will Putnam, who also had an incredible freaking combine and pro day. It's an interior line. You know, maybe we can find that center that can work out for us. J.J. Weaver from Kentucky, 6'5", 244. B Blockshed, again, another guy here that can be a very, very hidden player. Everything here is screaming athlete. When I look at my defensive line, we currently have 7 players there. So we don't and we drafted one as well. So we don't necessarily have to bring one in there. Linebacker, I don't know if I drafted a linebacker. So as much as I'd love to have Will Putnam, I think I would really like to, I'd be interested in this linebacker here. A zone coverage, B to D block shed, and he had an incredible pro day and combine. Agility says marginal. So that scares me a little bit, but he's got elite change of direction. So a little sneaky there. I'd like to take a chance on him. 6'3", 230 out of Texas A&M, 22 years old. Welcome to the team, Edwin Cooper. 87 speed, 84 change of direction, 89 acceleration. Let's see what we got. So Caleb Williams is a 79 overall freaking guy. Hidden dev, 96 throw power. Everything's all incredible here. His awareness is actually pretty good from the start. What I like so far about him is that if we can keep him healthy, man, I think he can be very, very special for us. We can make some adjustments and prep for the preseason free agency along with the preseason and see what can happen here. It's going to take some time, right? Like we're definitely going to have to figure out how these rookies kind of work out and go from here. But I can't complain. Like Yash Nijman, you know, it's going to be a battle between him and Fisher. We're going to see Caleb out there. We're going to get a chance to see Kendrick Bourne out there with Franklin. So I'm really interested in seeing how this all works out. Franklin, Odell Beckham. Maybe I move Beckham to slot. Maybe it's going to be Franklin and Hyatt and then Beckham playing the slot. We got Jalen Polk out there. We still got Kendrick Bourne, man. So there's a lot of pieces here that can work out. And who knows if we decide to maybe even put Darius Slayton on the block because we got so many weapons, man. This could be really fun here. One person I am thinking about moving to a different position, mainly just on versatility alone, is Wan'Dale Robinson as a running back. It'll drastically increase his OVR, but I think he could be an intriguing piece in the backfield and really just kind of open up some options for us. So that might be something to think about. Definitely interested in seeing how this defense rolls now. You know, Jack Sawyer's on this team. We're going to get a chance to see some other cats here, like Isaiah Thomas from the practice squad get a chance. We'll see some corners get involved in this role here. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be really, really fun. I'm hoping these guys really step up, man. You know, Carson has a chance to be a slot corner for us. That's going to be kind of neat. And maybe we'll finally figure out a way to build out this NASCAR package, because that's something I'm interested in doing. Can we find a true NASCAR package here? It's pretty good, man. That'll do it for us today, everybody. I really appreciate everyone that stopped by. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Let me know if you thought this was a good draft for the Giants, and most importantly, subscribe to keep up. We'll be starting the preseason real soon. I don't know if I'm going to put that as an episode, but depending on what we decide to do, I might just show just like a quick some YouTube shorts, like, hey, here's what we did in the preseason in certain aspects, and then get us to week number 1. So I really appreciate everyone that stopped by. Y'all have yourself a good one. Let's go Big Blue.